how to live a very balanced life.
I've totally sacrificed my friendships, and I've definitely sacrificed my family. And yeah, I only get 4 to 6 hours of sleep every night.
Struggles with managing your time, how to solve issues with love, life, money, or your spiritual journey.
I can't stress to you enough, it's important to live a very balanced life.
Dani is the counterweight to give you balance.
Do you find that you're not living out your life the way you want it to?
This is the Dani Johnson Show.
Hi, this is Dani Johnson. Welcome to the show. We hope that today you're living a life on purpose and you're including joy inside of that and you're making good decisions each day. And if you're not, this is a really good place to be. You know, sometimes we can be doing things that we're blinded to. I know for me, I've done that so many times. And when you look back, you go, oh gosh, why did I do that? What was I thinking? Have you ever said that? You probably have. Well, I don't know if you've noticed this, but there seems to be, and I don't know if it's like due to social media or YouTube or whatever, but there seems to be an uprising of parents who are publicly shaming their children, like really going for it, right? You probably have seen some of the videos. Remember, I don't know, a short time ago, there was a video of a father and a daughter, and he was publicly shaming his daughter on video. And then he posted it on her Facebook page. It went crazy, not only on her Facebook page, but it went viral. This thing had received thousands and thousands and thousands of views and shares. People went crazy laughing at this father-daughter shameful thing that happened. Even recently, another video of a father running over his son's video games with his tractor or his, I don't know, lawnmower that looks like a tractor. And the kid is screaming his brains out about his video games. And he actually was 22 years old. He wasn't a kid, but he certainly was acting like he was 7. Do you agree with this? Do you agree that parents should be shaming their children publicly? In fact, a year ago, you might remember this. I covered this story about a year ago, and it was about a UK man who wrote a scathing letter to his 3 children, calling them underachievers, disappointments who had failed both at life and in their marriages. This father actually not only wrote this letter, but he submitted it to the newspaper. So this letter was put out in the public eye for his kids to just be, totally embarrassed, completely shamed. It's one thing to have your father who's on his deathbed telling you that you are a disappointment to him, but it's a whole other thing to take a section out of a newspaper and make that public information for everybody. Do you agree with this kind of parenting? Do you believe that parents should be publicly shaming their kids like that? 844-200-3264. That's my phone number. Call me. I want to know how you feel about this. 844-200-3264. When I see things like this, I mean, it's obvious that the father, the man, the UK father of the 3 adult children, when he wrote this, it was obvious that, well, he was hurting. He was sad. I would hope that we would have a bit more maturity than that we would have some kind of maturity to say, have the conversation face to face. And if you need to yell at your kid, I guess that's your style. That's what you do. But I'm not so sure. I know this. I've been publicly shamed. I've been slandered. I've been laughed at. I've been mocked. It hurts. It hurts a lot. But what do you think the result is of it? And what do you think is in the minds of these parents who are taking videos of themselves shaming their children or writing a scathing letter and putting it on Facebook and for that letter to go viral on Facebook? Parents hacking into their kids' social media to embarrass them. Do you feel that is effective? You think it's a good strategy? Or do you disagree? 844-200-3264 is my number. Again, that's 844-200-3264. Have you ever been shamed publicly? Have you ever been mocked and slandered? Have you ever had somebody do something similar as to what I'm talking about, these videos or this letter that was put in a newspaper? Have you ever had something like that happen to you? Maybe not to that degree, but if you've had anything like that happen, I'd like to know what your response was. How did you feel? How did you deal with it? 844-200-3264 is my number. Again, that's 844-200-3264. We have on line 6, we have Arlene from Florida. Arlene, welcome to the show. What do you think about these parents who are embarrassing their kids publicly?
It's kind of sad, but I can understand the desperation of the parents. I just feel like, as a parent, I have 4 children myself, and I did some years ago when my son was younger in elementary school, his school allowed me to do corporal punishment. It definitely prevented a lot of that type of behavior in the future, but at the same time, my son, of all 4 of my children, he and I don't have the greatest of relationships. And I noticed that when he got older, he drew a picture, and mind you, he's 16. He drew a picture of the family, and he was on one side of the mountain, and everybody else was on the other.
Wow.
I still tried to mend a relationship with him. He doesn't feel like part of the family.
Wow.
So that's why I say it's kind of like a catch-22.
Mm-hmm.
I did it when he was younger, but I still feel like there's a rift in a relationship because he feels distant. And on the other side, I could see the other parents being so desperate to try to do something, but if they did something earlier than let so many things go by, they wouldn't have to resort. That's just my opinion, that they wouldn't have to resort to what they're doing now.
So are you saying that he was spanked publicly in front of his classmates?
Oh, not in front of his classmates,
Right.
but he was spanked where he screamed so loud that his classmates knew what was going on.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, is this the son that it just has continuously gotten into more trouble than the other kids?
Yes, he's gotten into more trouble.
Right.
It got to the point when he was in middle school, he had brought one of my pocket knives to school. And I'm just so thankful to God that it was a small one, because if it was a big one, he would have been arrested.
Wow.
And so I used that as a scare tactic, and I was just like, put him in jail. And he was just looking at me, and I'm like, well, you brought a knife. You did the crime. You're going to do the time. I'm not going to cover up for you. But of course, I knew that they weren't going to put him in jail, but it was just like, just to let you know. So, on one end, he's not a bad kid.
Mm-hmm.
He's just kind of...
He's a kid.
I don't want to say kind of defiant. Yeah, he's a kid.
He's a kid.
But on the other hand, he exactly. He hasn't given me any of the extreme trouble that other people are seeing.
Right.
And for me, coming as a single mom, I don't have the same type of issues that a lot of other single moms have with their sons.
Right.
So I'm glad that my discipline put him in a position where he doesn't have a lot of issues that other boys have. But at the same time, as a mom, I feel like I'm wanting that relationship that I have with my other three children. And he's about to graduate high school at 16. And I'm just like, he's like, well, Mom, I want to go live with Dad. So it kind of hurt me, but I was just like, I'm not going to fight it. Yeah. Maybe it will take him moving to his dad for him to see that I'm not the villain that he thinks that I am.
Right. Now, I have a question for you, Arlene. Did you, what techniques have you used to try to mend the relationship with your son?
I've taken him out on individual dates where it be with me and him. We do like family date night on the weekends. So like on Friday we have Junk Food Friday. Saturday we have Date Family, and he participates in that.
Right.
But anything outside of scheduled dates, he'd rather just lock himself in his room. And so another thing that I'm doing right now is I'm selling all his video games. In hopes that it will force him to be part of the family.
Right.
And he's fighting that even.
I'm sure.
Well.
I'm sure. Okay, but Arlene, I have a question.
Creating that relationship.
I have a question for you. When you were a teenager, did you try to hide out in your bedroom?
Yes, I read books.
When I was a teenager, I hid out in my bedroom too. I think a lot of teenagers generally hide out in their bedroom. let me just interject here. I think
Yes.
you've done an awesome job, by the way. I really do. I mean, that you got date nights with your kids, you got the family night with your kids, you got 4 kids, you're a single mom. You've done a really good job. But I think what's going on here is normal. That 1 out of 4 has a little bit of a different personality and has a different perspective. Do you know, with my 5, it's really interesting to hear you say that you had that this son is the one who, didn't see himself a part of the family. Do they all have the same dad?
Yeah, yes.
They all have the same father.
Biologically, my oldest doesn't, but
right.
Outside of that, yes.
Okay. So what I can tell you is that it's the same with mine. My oldest has a different biological father, and then my last 4 do. But do you know that one of my 4 had said the same thing to me at one point? And then when another one got older, he said the same thing. Like, but see, I'm not like Erica. Mom, I actually want to do bad things. And they got into their head that because they actually wrestled with temptation, that somehow they were not perfect and couldn't be a part of the family. I'm like, what are you talking about? Do you have any idea the things your sister did? So they get into that because we disciplined our kids individually. We did not make it a public thing. Do you understand what I mean? Meaning that when Erica had her day of doing something stupid, when she swallowed her stupid pill, having a secret boyfriend, her brothers didn't know about that. They had no idea. So what we found was because we disciplined the kids individually and privately, each one of them thought they were saints. And each one of them thought they were the ones that got in the most trouble because they didn't see the other kids get in trouble. So if you were to ask Cabe, he would say, I know I got the most spankings. If you asked Roman, I know I got the most spankings. Micah would say, nope, I definitely did not get the most spankings because he didn't. He's my analytical, compliant child. Erica also was more of a compliant child, but the 2 middle ones and the oldest one were not the compliant people. It took a little more work. So I'm going to challenge you here, Mommy. Don't beat yourself up that you're a single mom. Also, don't use that as a crutch or an excuse. I could line up 100 families with 4 kids in it, and I guarantee you that there's probably a percentage, and it could be 25% of the kids that were rebellious or maybe 50% of the kids that were rebellious through the teen years and just didn't feel like they fit in. Kids go through that. That's part of them finding their own identity, and it's part of them having their own personality and their own navigation of thinking, correct thinking or incorrect thinking. And so we can parent all 4 kids the same way, but we're going to get 4 different results. And so I'm sorry to break the news to you. Some kids I have found have been easier in the beginning. Some were easier as teens, and then some were hellions as young adults. It's how it goes. It's how it goes. This is Dani Johnson. We'll continue with more right after this.
The Dani Johnson Show, helping people just like you make life more enjoyable and rewarding. The Dani Johnson Show.
With all the changes happening in healthcare, Christians want to know, is there any option that's God-honoring, affordable, and acceptable under the law? The answer is Medishare. It's not insurance. It's a nationwide community of believers who share each other's medical bills. Unlike individual insurance plans, which are now required to cover the morning after pill, your healthcare dollars never pay for things that go against your beliefs. There's no enrollment period, so you could sign up anytime. You choose your doctors from America's largest provider network. And yes, it's affordable. Family options average around $300 a month. Medishare is healthcare Christians can believe in.
Learn how thousands of Christians can help you save on your health care. For your free information guide, call 855-90-BIBLE. Not available in Montana. Medishare, affordable biblical health care. Call 855-90-BIBLE. That's 855-90-BIBLE.
Cooking healthy, simple, and inexpensive is a key part to saving money. I know how hard it is to meal plan, and it takes a lot of time. This is why you need Emails. Emails does meal planning for you. They send you written plan every week that is easy to stick to so that you buy only what you need and you save a lot of money. Emails has a team of culinary professionals and clinical dietitians who create new plans for you with healthy and delicious recipes every week. Email plans are based on food styles like clean eating, paleo, diabetic, and slow cooker. The average emails user saves $1,000 on groceries without using the kind of money-saving tips that I teach you. What's not to love about that? Emails.com makes healthy cooking at home simple and inexpensive. You need to get emails in your life today. Go to emails.com using the promo code DANI. That's DANI for a special discount. You're going to love me for this. Go to emails.com.
Radio talk show host Dani Johnson in Kadwa, Haiti.
Hi, I'm Dani Johnson, and I'm here with Vida in her tiny little home. This home is the size of many people's closets in the United States of America. Now, we're sitting on a bed, just a piece of sheets or plastic that these beautiful babies sleep on. They have nothing. This family has nothing. No water, no food, nothing. Won't you do something? The Bible says that if you ignore the cry of the poor, then you too will cry and be ignored. They're not asking for nice clothes. They're asking for food. That's it. Food, water. You can help. We want to build her a home. We want to bring water, clean, fresh water here. But we can't do it alone. We need you.
Help us radically change a community. Go to kingsransom.org to make your donation to Kadwa, Haiti. That's kingsransom.org.
If you know me at all, I don't want you to spend a penny more than you have to on anything. This is one of those things. If you're a business owner and accept credit cards, you're paying too much unless you're working with my friend Kevin Sykes at Prestige Merchant Solutions. He is so confident that he can save you money, he'll actually pay you $100. Listen, if you accept credit cards, check it out. Call 850-200-0709. That's 850-200-0709. Kevin guarantees 5-star service. Guarantees he'll save you money or pay you $100. No risk. So why wait? Call today. It's quick to change from your current service, incredibly reliable, 24/7 support, and payments are processed quickly. Tell him Dani told you to call. There's nothing to lose. Call 850-200-0709 or visit them at prestigemerchantsolutions.com. Is God calling you to the entertainment industry? Do you want to rise for Him? Do you want to be an actor, model, singer, or dancer and shine for God? Do you think the world needs better role models? Do you want to be a star for the Most High God? Actors, models, and talent for Christ is coming to a city near you. A new generation of Christian performers is rising. Call 800-STAR-420 or go to amtcaudition.com. God gave you talent for a reason, and that is to shine for Him. So we are searching for actors, models, singers, and dancers. Go to amtcaudition.com to find out when and where the next free audition will be held. Entertainment is the best opportunity for Christians to change the world, and the time is now. Are you ready for that call? 800-STAR-420 or go to amtcaudition.com. That's actors, models, and talent for Christ. Register for your audition today.
Now, more of the Dani Johnson Show.
We usually have a tendency of trying to find a reason for everything, don't we? Sometimes we just can't accept that people are just different and they think different and they have different points of view and we all have different ways of growing. Earlier we were talking to a single mom who felt that, part of her issues with her 4 kids, actually it's just one of the 4, is, something that happened between her and him. He was spanked and his friends heard him being spanked and feels like that drove the wedge. It may or may not have done that, but I know this. With 5 children that have been raised in our house, man, there's going to be 5 totally different perceptions about their childhood. We've all seen that, right? You can have 5 people growing up in the same house, and one thinks it was the most amazing experience ever, and then you have one that go, my mother was evil, right? They have different opinions about the parents. They have different opinions about how they were raised. It's just that, different opinions. So, yeah. We got to accept people for who they are. But the point that I'm making is this. Is it that maybe that the son got spanked that one day and now there's not going to be a relationship with him ever? No. I trust in the God that I serve. And I trust that, man, I know I've made mistakes. I know I have. Oh my gosh, have I made mistakes, huge ones. Things that I thought were really important back then when I look back and go, wait, you know, maybe I shouldn't have harped on that. Maybe I should have had a different perspective on that. That's life, isn't it? It is life. Life is about learning. Failures is about learning. Giving it our best shot, that's all we can do. And we have to hope for the best in the best shot that we gave. So we're talking about these parents who have publicly humiliated their children and whether or not this is wise. What are the implications? Is this a good style of parenting? How do you feel if it happened to you? Because we can all be provoked to act like a 7-year-old on national television. We can all be provoked to act like an idiot and it be captured on video and then bam, there it goes, viral all over social media. So sad, so sad. But that's what some of these parents are doing. So I want to know if you agree or disagree with this form of discipline or activity that these parents are doing. We've got Lorie from Austin, Texas. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Dani. I absolutely do not agree with publicly humiliating your child. Mm-hmm. I think it alienates them. I think it creates distrust. Yeah. Because how are they going to believe that we have their best interest at heart when we humiliate them in public and to their friends? It makes them not want to bring their friends around. We just, over Labor Day weekend, had a young girl in our neighborhood that ran away. And I have watched her parents deliberately humiliate her in front of us, even to the point of saying, well, she's not human. She's just a teenager. She doesn't deserve respect. She doesn't deserve any honor. It just broke my heart to hear that, to see what it did to her, to see her just melt, just completely destroyed her self-esteem. Yep. And you know, me trying to tell her, you have value. You're a human being. You're loved. Yeah. You know, God created you. And then have her parents say those things to her. Yeah. She left and ended up coming back a couple days later. And I'm a little scared for her. I don't know what's going to happen in that household. Yeah. She doesn't want to be there. She wants to be gone. She wants to run away. She doesn't feel loved. And she's told me these things. Yep. But she can't talk to her parents because they literally will tell her, I don't care. Wow. I don't care how you feel. This is my way or the highway. Wow. Wow. Oh, my goodness. Are we not called to love our children? Are we not called to be the ones who groom them for success? To build them up, to teach them their value so they can go out into the world and be better and be the person that they're created to be, to make this world a better place? I'm very passionate about this. I'm standing here shaking because I'm just, no, I want to love my children. I didn't feel loved as a child. I felt rejected.
That's why this hurts so much.
Unneeded, in a way.
Yeah, that's why this hurts you so much. You identify, and you also know the price you paid, the decisions you made out of rejection, right? You know the places that you went trying to get love. You know how you felt. You know that you walked into self-hate, that you didn't trust anybody. All of that comes out of rejection. We got to take a short break, but I want you to hold on, Lorie, because I want to explore this a little bit further. And I want you to think back to your teenage years because, well, again, you were rejected as a child. So, of course, you didn't feel loved. Of course, you didn't feel honored or respected. You have that perspective. But what happens with the kids that have been loved and honored and all of a sudden they start saying they can't talk to their parents? This is Dani Johnson. We'll continue with more right after this.
Don't just stand there. Soak this up. It's joy. It's encouragement. It's insight to a better life and how to meet your obligations and overcome obstacles.
The Dani Johnson Show.
This is the Dani Johnson Show.
Radio talk show host Dani Johnson in Kadwa, Haiti.
Hi, I'm Dani Johnson, and I'm here with Vida in her tiny little home. This home is the size of many people's closets in the United States of America. Now, we're sitting on a bed, just a piece of sheet or plastic that these beautiful babies sleep on. They have nothing. This family has nothing. No water, no food, nothing. Won't you do something? The Bible says that if you ignore the cry of the poor, then you too will cry and be ignored. They're not asking for nice clothes. They're asking for food. That's it. Food, water. You can help. We want to build her a home. We want to bring water, clean, fresh water here. But we can't do it alone. We need you.
Help us radically change a community. Go to kingsransom.org to make your donation to Kadwa Haiti. That's kingsransom.org.
If you love to cook, but you hate planning, you'll love emails. Emails completely removes the pressures of planning healthy and budget-friendly meals. Every week, your emails plan comes straight into your inbox with easy recipes and a shopping list. Then all the ingredients you need for yummy meals are already in the house after you go to the grocery store. And you could save an average of $1,000 this year. Emails.com makes healthy cooking inexpensive and simple. Go to emails.com and use the promo code DANNY for that exclusive discount.
Giving you the playbook to design your life. This is the Dani Johnson Show. And now, here's Dani.
Public humiliation. It's been around since, I think, as long as humans have. I think it's on steroids right now with certain parents that have just pretty much come to their wits' end. They are desperate. They are so frustrated. They don't know what to do. They're pulling their hair out one strand at a time. And all of a sudden capturing on video something that they can make fun of their children with. Something that they can, make their kids look like an idiot. Posting it in places where it goes viral, and now their child is a laughingstock. And so I agree with Lorie here, who is saying from Austin, Texas, that she thinks it's just not right to do that and that the kids will not trust them. And she's telling us a story about a young lady that lives in their block that ran away because of her parents and how she's treated. Now, Lorie, here's something I want to bring. And I'm with you. I grew up in that same kind of home, and I did run away. And my sisters ran away. But what about those kids? Because I know I've encountered kids like this, and I've even had this with my own kids. I have found that there's always two sides to every story. Actually, there's three.
Absolutely.
There's three sides to every story. There's hers, there's her parents, and then there is what God has seen. There's what He has seen.
Yeah.
He has heard every word. He knows every motive. He knows every attitude that's in that house. And what I've come to a place of, because I'm usually the one that errs on the side of that teenager, until I've been on the other side. And my kids have grown up in a really loving home. And I found that when kids hear from other kids, they reach a certain age, and they say, and I wrote about it in Grooming the Next Generation for Success, that they reach a certain age, they hear somebody else say, I hate my mom. I can't ever talk to her about anything. You know, the times that my daughter would say, I can't talk to my mom, was always when she was knee-deep in sin. But when she wasn't knee-deep in sin, we had the most amazing relationship. But all of a sudden, out of nowhere, she would start to retract. She would start to pull away. It wasn't a bad thing that happened between the two of us. There wasn't bad mixed words or anything. I'm not kidding you. In fact, I got to tell you about this one time. There was this time where she became kind of distant. She was about 14 years old. And this was a year that we were going to test out school for her because she'd been homeschooled since the 5th grade. And sure enough, I began to pray and I began to say, Lord, what is going on? Please show me. A few nights later, I have a dream, Lorie. And I had a dream that Erica had a boyfriend, a secret boyfriend. She wasn't allowed to date. And there was something that we really talked a lot about, and it was a generational curse of our family. 5 generations of women pregnant at 17, not married, giving birth at 18. I was the 5th one. And so I brought this to my girls, telling them about this and talking about this thing wants to come and get you. This thing wants you to get pregnant at 17. You cannot deny these 5 generations. And none of us knew that our moms were pregnant at 17. When I got pregnant at 17, my mom had lied to me my whole life, telling me that she was a virgin on her wedding night. And that wasn't the case. She had a one-night stand with a Nicaraguan man, and bam, here's me. And she didn't even get married to the guy that raised me till I was 8 years old. I mean, we're talking this huge lie that I was fed as a child. Well, that night, I had this dream that Erica had a boyfriend. And I get up, I got sleep in my eyes, I wake up, and in the dream, they are kissing. And I was like, right? No. I go upstairs. I still have sleep in my eyes. I'm staggering up the stairs. Erica's getting ready for school. And I said, Erica, I just had the scariest dream. And she's like, what? And I told her the dream. She looked like she had seen a ghost. Mom, come in my bedroom. I need to talk to you. And she confessed that the exact dream I had was the exact thing that she just did. Now, what was the point of the distance?
Wow.
And what did she say to her friends? That she couldn't talk to me. She was trying to fit in with her other friends. She knew that I was not for her. Father and I both were not for her having a secret boyfriend kissing behind a building that eventually you keep going in that direction, you're going to end up pregnant at 17 like your mother was. So my point is that sometimes when kids are in a rebellious place, and I promise you, you can't attest to this because the way you grew up, but we can take a dime a dozen kids who grew up in a healthy, wonderful, loving home, and out of nowhere they swallow a stupid pill, and now they hate their parents. And some of it is because they're hearing other kids say that and they want to sound cool, so they start believing it. They start not trusting the people that they loved their entire life. So I know this, that anytime my daughter has said to somebody else, I can't talk to my mom, it's usually because she's in sin. It's usually because there's something she's hiding. It's usually because she started gossiping behind my back. She started believing something that she knew wasn't true. And that's usually the case. And that's when she starts doing this whole thing. And I know it's the same truth about my sons. Whenever somebody's attitude switches on like that, right? Bam, here it goes. So there's always three sides to every story. There always is three sides. I'm not saying I'm a perfect mom. Don't get me wrong. I have screwed up so many times. But one thing I have done is confess my sin before my kids and ask them for forgiveness as it's been revealed to me where I have screwed up. Have I raised my voice at my daughter before? Yes, absolutely I have. Did I make it right? Absolutely I have. Have I done it to my kids? Yes, absolutely. Have I made it right? Yes, I have. So I would seek the Lord, number one, because you said something about God. And maybe I would ask the parents if the three of y'all could get together and just say, I know you love your child probably as much as I love mine. And I'm hurting for your family, and I want you to know I want to be available to help in any way I can. I'm praying for you guys. Those parents might melt, or they might freak out and scream at you. Nonetheless, I'd be careful listening to this daughter. I'm not saying don't believe her. I'm saying use discernment. You know what? I'm going to go here too. Lorie, she's one of my spiritual daughters. I'm so sorry I got to talk about this. I don't want to paint a wrong picture here. Lorie grew up in an amazing home with 5 children. She's number 3. She has awesome parents. Her parents are my husband's aunt and uncle. And the parents began to send their daughters down to our house for some extra female grooming, if you will, right? And that we would have influence in their daughters' lives. And do you know that just out of nowhere, when Lorie was 14 years old, she started speaking bad about her parents. These are 2 amazing people who love and adore their children. They lived on a shoestring budget to keep mom at home so that mom could homeschool these kids. The sacrifices they made financially devoted their whole lives around their kids. And all of a sudden, Lorie, out of nowhere, hates her parents. That's what tipped me on this, by the way. Thank God I watched this happen before my own eyes. Like, wait a second. Last time I hear you loved your parents. This time, so what happened, Lorie? Nothing. Hey, have you called your mom? Nope. I don't want to call her. Why? I don't want to. Lorie, that's dishonorable. That's disrespectful, honey. You call your mom right now and you tell her you love her. Why? Laura, something gets into the mind of a 14-year-old or a 15-year-old or a 16-year-old or a 20-year-old. Eventually, it happens to all of us, where we swallow some stupid pill that says we hate the people who've been loving us our entire lives, who have put up with so much crap that we have dealt them our entire lives. They changed our diapers. They made sacrifices. They provided food. They provided a house. They provided hugs and love and encouragement. They came to our games. They helped us with homework. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, we have no interest in that person anymore. Don't you dare be like other kids, Lorie. Pick up the phone and call your parents. They miss you. They need to know you love them. They need to hear thank you for sending me to California to spend time with my cousins. They need to know you're grateful. If you ever want to come back here again, girlfriend, I said, you better show your parents that it's worth it. Because if you go back up there after being here and you're a sourpuss, little ungrateful, spoiled, rotten brat, I guarantee you they ain't letting you come back here. I ain't letting you come back here. So if you value this relationship, you better value that relationship all the more. So I'm just saying, Lorie, these are different perspectives. I know I've swallowed some stupid pills. And there's a good chance you're dealing with a teenager that is saying things in a very dramatic way, who's painting a picture. There's always three sides to every story. I'm not saying don't believe her. Yes, condone her feelings, but she needs to honor her parents, and she needs to seek help in the parents' relationship with her getting right. And as long as we give the parents a chance, we're doing the right thing. But if we just believe everything we're hearing and not have a conversation with those parents and not maybe even have the daughter go to some kind of counseling, and if you're not encouraging her to honor, to respect, to forgive, you're not being the counselor that you need to be in her life. We got to advise all people. When they say something bad about someone else, forgive. That's why God's brought this little girl into your life. You teach her to forgive. You teach her to love no matter how she's being treated. You teach her to honor and respect no matter how she's being treated. That's what Jesus did, and that's what we're called to do. To love, honor, and respect regardless of how we are being treated. So...
Absolutely.
Yeah, I just love your heart. I do. I really do. And you know what? I really thank you for what you brought here, because that was a good conversation that needed to be heard, not only by you and me, but by others. Thanks so much for the call. I appreciate you tremendously. This is Dani Johnson. We're going to continue with more right after this.
Good people bring out the good in people. And you're sharing great moments with thousands of good people right now. There's more of the Dani Johnson Show coming up. Stay here.
If you know me at all, I don't want you to spend a penny more than you have to on anything. This is one of those things. If you're a business owner and accept credit cards, you're paying too much unless you're working with my friend Kevin Sykes at Prestige Merchant Solutions. He is so confident that he can save you money, he'll actually pay you $100. Listen, if you accept credit cards, check it out. Call 850-200-0709. That's 850-200-0709. Kevin guarantees 5-star service, guarantees he'll save you money or pay you $100. No risk, so why wait? Call today. It's quick to change from your current service, incredibly reliable, 24/7 support, and payments are processed quickly. Tell him Dani told you to call. There's nothing to lose. Call 850-200-0709 or visit them at prestigemerchantsolutions.com.
If you're a Christian who's paying too much for healthcare, you're going to love Medishare. It's a nationwide community of believers who share each other's medical bills. It's affordable. Families average around $300 a month, and it's accepted by America's largest network of health providers. Plus, the healthcare law has a special provision for Medishare members, so you're exempt from any tax penalties. But here's the best part. Medishare is based on the timeless principles found in God's Word. You never have to pay for things that go against your beliefs. Medishare is healthcare the way God meant it to be.
Learn how thousands of Christians can help you save on your health care. For your free information guide, call 855-90-BIBLE. Not available in Montana. Medishare, affordable biblical health care. Call 855-90-BIBLE. That's 855-90-BIBLE.
We're back. Here's Dani Johnson.
What brings a parent to a place to publicly humiliate their child? What brings a parent to a place to degrade, put down, scream at a child? I don't think it just happens all of a sudden in one day. I think there's a great build that builds into that. And I certainly don't agree with those kinds of actions, but I certainly can understand how desperate, how hurt, how frustrated a parent has become to do something as stupid as videotaping humiliation of their child and posting it in social media. both parties are hurt really, really bad to bring it to that place. How do you feel about these videos that have been floating around, or how do you feel about these parents that are publicly humiliating their kids to teach them a lesson? You think it's good parenting skills, or do you think that there could be another way? We've got Lashana from Charleston, South Carolina. Welcome to the Dani Johnson Show.
Hey, Dani.
Hi.
How's it going?
Good.
Just listening to the conversation, I started thinking about when I was a kid and the way that my parents kind of groomed me and my sister. And there was no Facebook. I might be aging myself here, but there was no Facebook. There was no Instagram or Twitter to where she felt like, you know, she had to put it on social media. But, you know, sometimes I think, and I could be wrong about this, but sometimes I think that the parents that display the discipline feel that they have to prove to somebody that they actually are involved in their kid's life. As far as disciplining them, I do not agree at all with, you know, feeling like you have to put it on the worldwide that, you know, you've corrected your kid in something they have done wrong. But I don't know if it's just something that they feel like they have to show the world that I am, you know, involved in my kid's life. I really don't understand the point of, you know, why they would post it on social media. Because when my mom, you know, checked us, it was done then, and that was it. She didn't have to prove to anybody. But she also did tell us, you know, why we needed to be corrected and what she, you know, was trying to teach us. But it wasn't on display.
Yeah.
You know, if you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah, I do. It's kind of like this, Lashana. It's kind of like this. It's kind of like those parents that spank their kids in Walmart.
Right.
Right? It's the same thing. So I don't know that it is, hey, I'm going to prove that I'm involved with my kid's life. I don't know that I agree with that. And by the way, it doesn't mean you're wrong. It's just a different opinion, a different perspective. I think I might see it as they have reached a point of crazy frustration. Desperate. They don't have an answer. They can't fix it. Just like the video of the father running over the son's video games, right? And this gets displayed on Facebook. And it's because he's 22 years old. He's been out of college. It's been 3 months. He's not gone out to get a job. And the kid is acting like a 7-year-old. It's really sad. To me, that would be embarrassing for me to see my son act like that.
Right.
That's what I think. And I would just be mortified that my child would act like that. So just like the parents that beat their kids in Walmart or at the grocery store, we've all seen it, right? We have. It's terrible. And we feel awful. I mean, every time I see it, I feel awful for the child because I was the kid that was beaten in public. But I think the parent has just lost control. And there's so much hurt inside the parent, so much frustration. Come on. Lashana, do you have kids?
No, I have.
Don't tell me you have dogs and cats. I'm going to hurt you.
No. I have 6 godchildren and another,
right.
4 kids that I'm thinking about welcoming into my home. But,
that's awesome.
I didn't give birth to any babies.
Sure. When we've given birth or we adopted other people's kids or we have godchildren, as I have, my godchildren has caused a tremendous amount of frustration in my life. There's one I've wanted to beat with a stick many times. And I've told her, I said, you know, you were lucky you were birthed by another woman. Because your nose would have been in the corner almost every day and your butt would have been red constantly. And sometimes I wished I would have birthed that one because that's what she needs. But anyway, you do reach a point where it's just too much. And unfortunately, us parents have not been given an owner's manual, and too many of us have used that as an excuse, and many of us haven't asked for help. Many of us haven't submitted to coaching or counseling, and therefore we react. And we might react in public. We might react on video, and we'll say something that we absolutely regret, as all of us humans do at some point in our lives. And so, I would say that it's more of they just lost control. And they're just so mad and they're stewing. Go ahead.
No, I was wondering, so are you thinking that if it's that, I would seek wise counsel and someone that that is also a parent. I wouldn't put it on the internet.
No.
Like, what, because, of course, you're going to get a flood of comments, directed at the child who's already obviously humiliated. And now the kid is going to feel alienated, isolated, and embarrassed. So there's a sense of, anger that'll develop towards the parent, but that issue still isn't fixed.
No.
So I really don't know why.
It actually makes it worse. It makes it worse. But what I'm saying, Lashana, is in that moment, mom and dad aren't thinking about that. Just like, let me just ask you, have you ever been pushed over the edge ever in your life?
Yeah,
okay.
Of course.
So hold on. So when you've been pushed over the edge, just think of one time when you've been pushed over the edge. Can you tell me what your face looked like? Can you tell me about the language that came out of your mouth? Come on now. Can you tell me about what other people might have? Right? What did other people see? What did other people see when they saw you do that? You know what I mean? So it's like we get pushed to a place of out of control. It doesn't justify our actions. It actually creates more problems, didn't it? It created more problems. You were more embarrassed because you acted like an idiot by the way that you responded. Just like I was more embarrassed the times that I've done that. So it's that we're human. We're human. And so I know that the guilt and shame that's on mom and dad from the video, I think is probably similar as the kid who was humiliated. Because that was our kid who acted like that. That was our kid. Right. And wow, look at me. Look what an idiot I was to videotape this. Look what an idiot I was to humiliate my son like that. Do you know what I mean? So I think that both have great regret in the situation, and now they're both mad at each other, and depending on their maturity, they're pointing the finger at each other. Well, if you didn't do that, and if you didn't do that, you know what I mean? So it all it does is festers and makes it worse. So I think the lesson that you and I are talking about learning from this is take a deep breath, learn to have a cool head, and think before we act. That really is the lesson. And it's really easy for you and I on this side of the fence, you not having, had kids yourself or haven't yet adopted those 4 in your house. You haven't suffered yet. You will, honey, you will. But anyway, but us on the other side, because we haven't reacted in that way, I know for me, Lashana, given the right opportunity, I probably would have failed in the very same way that these parents have. Given the right set of circumstances, I'm pretty confident that I know myself well enough to know that I probably could do something just as stupid. Thank you so much for sharing your perspective. I really appreciate everything that you said. It was a good conversation. This is Dani Johnson. We'll continue with more right after this.
You can't be the old person you used to be and the new person you want to become. Let go of the past and hang on for what's new and exciting and about to come into your life. Stay tuned to The Dani Johnson Show. There's more to come.
Cooking healthy, simple, and inexpensive is a key part to saving money. I know how hard it is to meal plan, and it takes a lot of time. This is why you need Emails. Emails does meal planning for you. They send you written plan every week that is easy to stick to so that you buy only what you need and you save a lot of money. Emails has a team of culinary professionals and clinical dietitians who create new plans for you with healthy and delicious recipes every week. Email plans are based on food styles like clean eating, paleo, diabetic, and slow cooker. The average Emails user saves $1,000 on groceries without using the kind of money-saving tips that I teach you. What's not to love about that? Emails.com makes healthy cooking at home simple and inexpensive. You need to get Emails in your life today. Go to emails.com using the promo code DANI, that's DANI, for a special discount. You're gonna love me for this. Go to emails.com.
You tell yourself that life isn't that bad. You relish the small pleasures. Drive-through coffee, big screen TV, vacations bought on credit cards. But that's as good as life gets unless you take a leap of faith. This is millionaire author, radio and television show host Dani Johnson, inviting you to join me for 2 days where you will acquire the skills to make the life you crave a reality. Call now 844-200-DANI or visit firststepstosuccess.com.
The Dani Johnson Show is here to help you.
We want to see your economy thrive.
Helping you focus and set your priorities.
And you can do this by learning the skill sets, the strategies, and the mindsets of 2% of the population.
The Dani Johnson Show. Listen closely.
What are your weaknesses? What are your greatest strengths? And what are your weaknesses?
Learn how to make the most out of your strengths in this life and how to grow in the direction that is best for you and your family. This is The Dani Johnson Show.
I have thoroughly enjoyed working with you, talking with you today. I'm learning a lot just in that first hour of the Dani Johnson Show and us having this discussion about these parents who are just completely losing it, videotaping their kids looking like idiots and then posting it in social media and hundreds of thousands of shares that are the attention, like the people are sharing the videos of their kids looking like a fool. Really come to that place of learning. We got to think before we act. I did a show recently about having a cool head. Man, that's one of my goals for this year is to be more cool-headed. That isn't like cool, like from high school when I was in the 80s. I mean, when I was in high school in the 80s. When I was in the 80s. I guess that makes sense. But anyway, when I look at this place of, gosh, am I fully capable of blowing my top? Mm-hmm. I am. I'm fully capable of blowing my top. I'm fully capable of looking like an idiot, and I'm fully capable of having things fly out of my mouth that I just wish did not come out. But I hope that this time next year, I'm not the same. I hope that this time next year that I'm doing a little better. So we're talking about these videos that we've been seeing floating around in the news and on Facebook and Instagram and YouTube of, like a father and a son, a 22-year-old son who is addicted to video games, and dad says, I know how I'm going to fix this. I'm going to take the tractor over those suckers and I'm going to chew them all to pieces. And it was because his son had been out of college for 3 months and was playing video games all day, didn't go out and try to get a job, and his dad wrote him a note, said, get a job and get a life. Well, that's one way to get a message across. I don't know if it's the most effective way, but I'd love to hear your opinion. 844-200-3264. Again, that's 844-200-3264. We have Tracy calling all the way from New Zealand. Hey, has New Zealand seen these videos? All the way down under? Welcome to the show, Tracy.
Hi, Dani. Well, hi from New Zealand. It's beautiful here on Wednesday morning. I know all about humiliation, and I can remember a time that I went to meet a friend in a coffee shop, and within the first few seconds of being with her, she just started to test strips off me, saying, oh, you do this, or you've done that, and rat. She ratted on at me for about 30 minutes. Mm. And I just took one deep breath and I just went, you know what, I'm leaving now. And I left that coffee shop. I felt so devastated that a friend could possibly do those things. And as I drove to pick my son up, I start crying, and he gets in the car, and then I lash my tongue out at him because I was in so much pain. I drove home, and the first thing I did was pick up the phone to my emotional competence coach, and I went, oh my gosh, you'll never guess what happened. This just happened to me. And he said to me, you know what, when in that moment, in that conversation, did your intuition step in and say to leave? And I said, well, actually, before I even went to meet her.
Wow.
I'd got a... Exactly. So before I even went to meet her, I got, no, this shouldn't really be happening today. But I still went. I ignored my intuition, and I went anyway. So you know what? God gave me a really good lesson of ignoring my intuition.
Yeah.
And so I worked through all of those feelings, my anger, my frustration, everything that possibly came up. And we actually parted ways, and it didn't have anything to do with this person for 2 years. And then we recently connected, and we've both done a lot of work on ourselves, and what we both recognized in that time was how much we were caught up in our egos of judgment.
Yes.
And so we were judging each other and lashing out at each other as our little inner two-year-old, 3-year-old not getting their own way. so, you know, we worked through our emotions, and now we're really good friends, and now we go around New Zealand teaching people how to become emotionally competent.
I love it. That's such a great story. That was a very surprising end. I'm really proud of you, Tracy. I really am. I love this idea of emotional competence coaching. I think I could use that. I'll tell you what, the United States of America at large can use emotional competence coaching for sure. Oh my gosh. We are such a reactive culture.
The whole world needs it.
It does. It does. I think
absolutely. It's amazing, and it's so easy and it's so simple when you know how.
Yes.
And now my relationships with my children have absolutely transformed. My son decided that he wanted to go live back with his dad in England, and so he went with my blessing.
Oh, good.
He went with my blessing. His calling was to go and spend time with his dad. Yes, I had the emotional incompetence for a couple of days, but I worked through every emotion.
Wow.
And as I worked through every emotion, he's thriving in England with his dad. So, you know, I had to get out of his way.
Yes. Oh, Tracy, that's some really good wisdom. You know, I see that a lot, not just with parents, but also in business. Whenever we cannot control a circumstance, a situation, or a person, we then will reject them, put down on them, and stomp our way with that 2-year-old who's not getting their way and have our little hissy fit temper tantrum. And that's a lot of actually what we've seen in these videos, right? Of, you know, there was a video about a year ago of a father humiliating his daughter, and he posted it on her Facebook page for her friends to see. And this thing went viral all over the place. And I just remember going, oh gosh. But see, that's what it is the parent in that moment not being able to control the actions, the tongue, the habits of the child, and doing, now I'm at my last ditch effort, I'm going to humiliate you, I'm going to put you down, and I'm going to make everybody laugh at you. And a lot of business people actually do that. A lot of business people. I've been guilty of that myself, where we can't control them. And again, part of it's not controlling of do it my way or get out. It's more of we're concerned about the choices that they're making. We don't trust God with the business or with the child, and we don't see the bigger purpose in the son going to England, or in the business case, the person wanting to learn from somebody else or wanting to grow in their profession. And so we have a tendency, when we lack maturity and our own self-security, that we will try to control through humiliation or putting someone down or making them feel guilty. And that is never healthy. But what I've advised many clients is, I've had lots of consultations with business owners in this particular arena, is that the best thing you can do, because when somebody's made up their mind, right? For example, with your son, he's made up his mind, I want to go be with my dad in England. There's no stopping him. So you might as well bless him. You might as well bless him, because if he goes to his father's with the blessing, that's going to be a good experience. But if he goes with the blessing and it turns out that he made a mistake and he should have never done it, guess who he comes home to? His mom, who blessed him. But if mom spoke against it, if mom put him down, if mom made him feel guilty, if mom said, you're going to regret this, he will not come back to mom, because he doesn't want mom to be right. He doesn't want to be humiliated or put down again and be told, I told you so. So we all reach a place in our leadership where we must release and bless. Because if they're making the wise choice and God is really in it, and no matter what, God's in it, then either way, it comes back to bless you if you have blessed them in sending them. You did the right thing, Tracy. And look what God is doing with your son and his father. Every son needs his father.
Absolutely.
And you recognize that. And I really respect you. I really, really respect you. And I think you're onto something with this emotional counseling. I think it's really wise. Boy, could I have used that for a lot of years. I've had coaches and counselors, so I definitely have used that, but just specifically for, that's really, really good. This is Dani Johnson. We're talking about, the parents' reactions, humiliation to the child. Where does it really go? Is it wise? And again, we can also bring in the conversation about business too, because bosses humiliate their staff. Business owners can humiliate their teams. I've seen it many, many times, all through control, and usually from love, a place of, I don't want to see you fail, I don't want to make a mistake. And oftentimes it can also be from selfishness, but not always. We can't be so quick to judge. All right, we've got Jessica from North Carolina. Welcome to the Dani Johnson Show.
Hey, thanks, Dani. I do not agree with it, pretty much like everybody else, I think. I don't have any personal experiences from this happening to me, at least not that I remember. My mom was a single mom, mostly. I was the child from her third marriage and her most recent marriage. And she really did everything. Like, I look back, and she was awesome. And I was not an easy teenager, to say the least. I was pretty difficult, but she was amazing. But I'll never forget her telling me, and she's in her 60s, she is 64 now, but when she was, I guess probably 10 or 11, she's the middle child, and they were at church, and my grandmother introduced her as the retarded one. And she never forgot that. And that's been, over 50 years now. So I think that she really made an effort to never humiliate me. I mean, and also when I made a mistake, I think it was also some of it was too much an embarrassment for her that I made a mistake, so nobody knew about it. Wow. She'd also be embarrassed thinking about she kind of like failed in that aspect. But I know that's not even internet or Facebook. I mean, this is back in the 60s. So, I mean, it made that much of an impact to her, even though probably, I'm sure my grandmother forgot about it 10 minutes later, but my mom never did. And she's always been the black, I guess being the middle child also, sort of the black sheep of the family, and, like you do.
More like so-and-so. Yeah. You know what? Here's what I want us to do. I got to take a real short break, Jessica, but what I would love to do is I want you to tell us how you were not an easy teenager to raise. When we continue back, I want to know, what kind of hell did you bring on your mama? Because, number one, we have kids that listen to this show. And we have parents that listen to this show. We have business people that listen to this show. And there's a lot to learn when we can confess where we messed up and how we can all learn from it. This is Dani Johnson. We'll continue with more right after this.
The Dani Johnson Show. No excuses, no blaming, just real life. Stay tuned for more of The Dani Johnson Show.
If you know me at all, I don't want you to spend a penny more than you have to on anything. This is one of those things. If you're a business owner and accept credit cards, you're paying too much unless you're working with my friend Kevin Sykes at Prestige Merchant Solutions. He is so confident that he can save you money, he'll actually pay you $100. Listen, if you accept credit cards, check it out. Call 850-200-0709. That's 850-200-0709. Kevin guarantees 5-star service. Guarantees he'll save you money or pay you $100. No risk, so why wait? Call today. It's quick to change from your current service, incredibly reliable, 24/7 support, and payments are processed quickly. Tell him Dani told you to call. There's nothing to lose. Call 850-200-0709 or visit them at prestigemerchantsolutions.com. Cooking healthy, simple, and inexpensive is a key part to saving money. I know how hard it is to meal plan, and it takes a lot of time. This is why you need Emails. Emails does meal planning for you. They send you written plan every week that is easy to stick to so that you buy only what you need and you save a lot of money. Emails has a team of culinary professionals and clinical dietitians who create new plans for you with healthy and delicious recipes every week. Email plans are based on food styles like clean eating, paleo, diabetic, and slow cooker. The average Emails user saves $1,000 on groceries without using the kind of money-saving tips that I teach you. What's not to love about that? Emails.com makes healthy cooking at home simple and inexpensive. You need to get emails in your life today. Go to emails.com using the promo code Dani. That's DANI for a special discount. You're going to love me for this. Go to emails.com.
Radio talk show host Dani Johnson in Kadwa, Haiti.
Hi, I'm Dani Johnson, and I'm here with Vida in her tiny little home. This home is the size of many people's closets in the United States of America. Now, we're sitting on a bed, just a piece of sheet or plastic that these beautiful babies sleep on. They have nothing. This family has nothing. No water, no food, nothing. Won't you do something? The Bible says that if you ignore the cry of the poor, then you too will cry and be ignored. They're not asking for nice clothes. They're asking for food. That's it. Food, water. You can help. We want to build her a home. We want to bring water, clean, fresh water here. But we can't do it alone. We need you.
Help us radically change a community. Go to kingsransom.org to make your donation to Kadwa, Haiti. That's kingsransom.org.
Is God calling you to the entertainment industry? Do you want to rise for Him? Do you want to be an actor, model, singer, or dancer and shine for God? Do you think the world needs better role models? Do you want to be a star for the Most High God? Actors, models, and talent for Christ is coming to a city near you. A new generation of Christian performers is rising. Call 800-STAR-420 or go to amtcaudition.com. God gave you talent for a reason, and that is to shine for Him. So we are searching for actors, models, singers, and dancers. Go to amtcaudition.com to find out when and where the next free audition will be held. Entertainment is the best opportunity for Christians to change the world, and the time is now. Are you ready for that call? 800-STAR-420 or go to amtcaudition.com. That's actors, models, and talent for Christ. Register for your audition today.
With all the changes happening in healthcare, Christians want to know, is there any option that's God-honoring, affordable, and acceptable under the law? The answer is Medishare. It's not insurance. It's a nationwide community of believers who share each other's medical bills. Unlike individual insurance plans, which are now required to cover the morning after pill, your healthcare dollars never pay for things that go against your beliefs. There's no enrollment period, so you could sign up anytime. You choose your doctors from America's largest provider network. And yes, it's affordable. Family options average around $300 a month. Medishare is healthcare Christians can believe in.
Learn how thousands of Christians can help you save on your health care. For your free information guide, call 855-90-BIBLE. Not available in Montana. Medishare, affordable biblical health care. Call 855-90-BIBLE. That's 855-90-BIBLE.
Helping you get a grip on your priorities and your focus. The Dani Johnson Show.
Here's Dani Johnson.
Were you a hellion at some point? Oh, come on with your self-righteous self. Don't you be sitting there going, oh, I can't believe you said that. This show is definitely not for you if you get offended by the word hellion. I was a hellion. What about you? Joining me now is Jessica from North Carolina. She called in right before we took that last break, and she was saying that she was raised by a single mom. She was the child of the third husband, and that her mom was awesome. Her mom gave it her best shot, and her mom by her mother was introduced as the retarded one. And her mother carried that with her for over 50 years now. But Jessica actually mentioned that she was not an easy teenager to raise, and I want to get to the nitty-gritty. You know why? Because, there's something to be said. Here this young woman is saying, my mom was awesome. But then we have this young woman that now can say, I was not an easy kid to raise. So Jessica, you had an awesome mother. You're saying that when you look back, man, your mom was encouraging. She never embarrassed you or humiliated you like what we've seen on social media. These videos of these parents are humiliating their children. How did you give your mom hell? What were some of those things?
I think I was probably typically your typical middle school girl, probably. And
don't pawn it off on the typical middle school girl thing. Nice try, nice little generality. I'm looking for the nitty gritty, honey.
mean, like, I never got into drugs and alcohol or anything like that.
Look at how you're still justifying your actions here. You're so cute.
I would
quit dancing.
I was just difficult.
How?
I would, when we moved away from all my friends and family at one point after my parents divorced, I would kick and scream, like, to go to school. Like, literally, the principal would have to drag me through the hallway to get me to class. I would, like, kick the principal. I mean, I was just so embarrassing to her. I would, once I got to high school, I would, you know, try to sneak out or say that I was going to the library and study and end up at a bunch of friends' house in, like, bad positions or, you know.
Wait. You mean it? Wait. You are so adorable. There's no wiggle room on the Dani Johnson Show. I'm going to share my junk. You first. Okay, so hold on. Yes, you're adorable. You know, put myself in not the greatest positions. You snuck over to whose house, Jessica?
I mean, just guy friends, other girlfriends, groups that I probably shouldn't have been around.
Why? Why were there groups that you should not have been around? Tell me about these groups that you were sneaking out to go visit when you were lying, saying you were at the library.
Just, I don't know. I mean, like, there would be alcohol there. There would be, like, some of the people that were, you know, like 13 and 14, they were already sexually active.
Wow.
So, I mean, and I think it made my mom so mad because she was strict. She knew most of the time I couldn't be, like, going to a friend's house. I mean, library I got away with pretty well, or going to the mall. But if I was told her I was going to a friend's house, she wanted the parent's number. She would call them to verify that I was going to be there. She'd want everything. And one time she passed me, and she saw me in the car with someone that I shouldn't have been with. And she turned around and followed me. And we were going to, like, this teenage pool hall place. And she, like, pulled me out of there. But, which I'm glad she did, because the owner was a creeper. But, I mean, I was just, you know, trying to fit in and, you know, do all these things. And it's funny because I homeschool now, and she is not for it. And I'm like,
Mom,
I didn't end up like I did.
Are you crazy, Mom?
So,
That's awesome. Jessica, I'm really proud of you. Number one, I'm really proud of you because you got underneath the generalities, right? And there's a reason I'm telling you this. You have kids now. Don't feed them sugar-coated generalities. Tell them the truth. I told my kids I slept around. I told them I slept with people I didn't even know their names. And this is the price I paid because of it. This is the price I paid. I was a hellion.
At what point did you get that?
I've done it since they were little. When Erica actually was 4 years old and I saw that she was very flirtatious and she used to just jump on men's laps and play with their hair, you know, I spoke in a language that she could understand it for, and I just said, my job is to help protect you and to teach you to be wise with your body. And my mom didn't teach me this. And I would jump on men's laps and play with their hair, and the wrong man might get the wrong idea. And Mommy was hurt very deeply because I did not know how to protect my body. And so I was hurt very, very badly. That was the first conversation. As she got older, then I told her exactly what happened. And so it's important that we as parents get real. And I appreciate you for doing that today, Jessica. This is Dani Johnson. We'll continue with more after this.
No excuses, no blaming, just real life. Stay tuned for more of The Dani Johnson Show.
Is God calling you to the entertainment industry? Do you want to rise for Him? Do you want to be an actor, model, singer, or dancer and shine for God? Do you think the world needs better role models? Do you want to be a star for the Most High God? Actors, models, and talent for Christ is coming to a city near you. A new generation of Christian performers is rising. Call 800-STAR-420 or go to amtcaudition.com. God gave you talent for a reason, and that is to shine for Him. So we are searching for actors, models, singers, and dancers. Go to amtcaudition.com to find out when and where the next free audition will be held. Entertainment is the best opportunity for Christians to change the world, and the time is now. Are you ready for that call? 800-420 or go to amtcaudition.com. That's actors, models, and talent for Christ. Register for your audition today. If you love to cook, but you hate planning, you'll love emails. Emails completely removes the pressures of planning healthy and budget-friendly meals. Every week, your emails plan comes straight into your inbox with easy recipes and a shopping list. Then all the ingredients you need for yummy meals are already in the house after you go to the grocery store. And you could save an average of $1,000 this year. Emails.com makes healthy cooking inexpensive and simple. Go to emails.com and use the promo code DANNY for that exclusive discount. Hello.
Improving the quality of your life. The Dani Johnson Show.
I love it.
Why is it that when we get older, we want to make light of our mistakes? Actually, I don't think it has to do with being older. I think just in general, humans want to do that. I was just talking with Jessica from North Carolina as she was sharing, that she gave her mom hell when she was a teenager and felt that her mom was an awesome mom. And because I want to kind of pierce the veil here of the parents that think, okay, I'm going to be the perfect parent and I'm never going to get mad at my kid and I'm not going to freak out and I'm going to do everything right. I'm going to follow your book, Dani. I'm going to do everything in grooming the next generation for success and hopefully my kids won't give me hell. Part of raising kids is going through hell sometimes. It is. And even the most perfect of all parents, and I wrote this in the very last page of Grooming the Next Generation for Success, that God is the perfect father, the most loving and accepting, and wow, the way he provides and all that he gives and his devotion. And yet his children rebelled against him. So it's not about being the perfect parent, but I think it is important for us to be real. And so I've shared stories with my kids about how terrible I was. Okay, so yeah, I was badly abused as a kid. I was emotionally tormented. I was physically violated, sexually abused. I was physically grabbed by the throat, shoved up against walls, kicked across rooms. I was beaten, friend. I was beaten to bruised. Okay? My sisters were beaten to bruised. My mother was beaten, bruised, black eyes, bloody lips. I mean, this is the house I grew up in. But at the same time, I wasn't just the poor little victim here. Yes, my dad had an anger issue, do you think? And my mom didn't know what to do. And that was horrifying. But here's the facts. My attitude provoked my dad. Oh, gosh. My attitude, I just know the evil looks I would glare at him with. There's no question the high level of disrespect, disdain, and hatred that even just in me saying yes, right? Did you clean your room? Yes. With my eyes rolling back in my head and my just hatred, I know he could hear that. He could hear my full on, I hate you and I wish you were dead in my answer that said yes to cleaning my room. If I was asked to do something, or if he made fun of me, which he did a lot, he made fun of me a lot, embarrassed me constantly, made fun of my bow legs, made fun of my huge shoulders. He called me flat-nosed brat, made fun of my darker skin that my sisters didn't have. And it turns out that he wasn't my dad. He was making fun. He was putting down on the Nicaraguan kid that didn't know she was Nicaraguan. And he humiliated me a lot, not to mention the humiliation that I had my parents showing up in public, stoned out of their minds, drooling. Terribly embarrassing. But let me tell you this. We all have advantages and disadvantages. And I've chosen to take the disadvantages that I had in my life and use them as advantages. And when I really get real with myself, did I deserve every beating? No, but I know I deserved several. Gosh, I know I did. Yeah, I snuck out of the house. And yes, I was going off to try to have sex with somebody. Yeah, it was wrong. It was bad. When I put myself in my parents' shoes who were so afraid that I'd get pregnant in high school, oh gosh, I gave them so much to worry about. I gave them every reason to worry about me, and that tormented my poor parents. It's probably why they probably smoked half the joints just because of me. It's terrible. It's awful. I need to call my mom. This is Dani Johnson. We're talking about public humiliation of children. We're seeing it. It's a thing on the rise today all over social media of parents just losing it. Do we think it's wise or foolish? What might be the outcome? Shamika from Clarksville, Tennessee, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Yes, I do not believe that publicly humiliating our children is effective, especially if we are, Christians, because God does not humiliate us when we fall short. And we need to think about that and use that same measure of grace and love that God shows us when we fallen short. There's a way to get the desired result that we desire to see from our children if we go to the Creator, because He created them. He knows exactly what it's going to take to get them to change and do the things that we know will be pleasing to Him. Yeah. So humiliating them will just bring more shame and condemnation to them, which is the exact opposite of what God would have us to do.
Yeah. You know what, Shamika, I agree with almost everything that you said. But I can hear in my head somebody that's listening that doesn't share the same Christian values that you and I share. And they're saying, really? God does not humiliate His own children? Then why was His Son beaten naked? Why was His Son spat upon? Why was His Son, who was sinless and guilty of nothing, He was humiliated? Oh, wait a second. What about Paul? What was his death? Peter, hung upside down. These guys were publicly humiliated again and again and again for their faith. What do you say to that? Because somebody's asking that question. You know they are, Shamika, because not everybody has the same faith we do.
And that's true. However, the humiliation that they received, as, for example, Paul, the humiliation he received it from the people that did not understand, that did not believe. So people do things sometimes because they just don't really understand.
Yeah.
So it's not so much as he was humiliated by God, but the people humiliated him and wanted to
make a point, make a skeptical. Yeah, they want to make a spectacle out of them. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. But God does allow us to be humiliated from time to time. And in that case with them, with Peter and Paul and the many others, what about Stephen, who was stoned to death? You know what I mean? That was humiliating. He was stoned to death while he was worshiping God. That was humiliating. And so humiliation, I don't think that a parent should use it as a tool to teach their sons or daughters. I do not think that's wise. I think that there's all kinds of implications that come out of it. And I think that a parent that does that has lost it, meaning they have been pushed over the edge, Shamika, just like you and I have been pushed over the edge before with our kids, right? Yes. And when mom has been pushed over the edge, we look like a principality demon from hell. I can only imagine from my kids' eyes what they see in my face. It's awful when I think about it. And I think that sometimes we go through things like that so we can learn not to do that again. But I want to stand firm on truth, that God does sometimes allow us to be humiliated, because for some of us, that's the only way that we'll learn. In the case with the apostles, they were crucified for their faith. They were made public spectacles because of their faith. And that was showing their faith, their love, and their adoration. And that's the price they were willing to pay to say that, yes, Jesus is the Christ. He died on the cross for my sins. He died on the cross for your sins. And He rose from the dead. And that for anyone that believes in Him will have everlasting life. That your sins are forgiven. Your sins are forgiven. That's the statement that was being made with the humiliation that happened towards the end of their life and throughout their life. In all reality, there was a lot of that throughout their lives. They were humiliated, imprisoned. You know what I mean? So I think it's important that we try not to make generalities as far as God wouldn't want us to do that, when in all reality, God has allowed it to happen in us. More of, let's stick with the argument of, is this really the best thing to serve our kids? And I 100% agree with you. God created your son and daughter, and He has the answer on how to discipline them. He has that answer. We don't have the answer. And man, I'll tell you what, Shamika, that was probably one of my greatest tools in raising my kids. Now, they're almost all of them are grown. I only have 2 teenagers left in the house. And still to this day, and that's a good reminder for me today, Lord, show me how I need to handle this situation. Because, Shamika, as we get older, we just kind of get in the groove, huh? And we just kind of lean on our own understanding, and we don't acknowledge him, and we don't seek him for that very specific answer, for that very specific situation that's coming up with our teenager or our 25-year-old or our 2-year-old. We do get in a habit of just leaning on our own selves instead of going, God, help me. Show me what I need to do here. Show me what needs to change here. And it isn't just about judging the child. It's about judging our own heart. And I appreciate that that's what you've brought into this conversation. And I 100% agree with you. We got to go to the creator who created them. And we got to ask him for help and guidance and direction. That's the only way we're going to hit the mark more than we miss the mark. Because we're still going to miss the mark. Don't you agree with that?
Yes.
I know I am. I know I'm going to miss the mark. Thank God I have a savior, honey. That's all I know, man. Because Dani Johnson needs one. Like, big time. Some other people might not, but I do. I'm messed up. A hot mess up is what Dani Johnson has a tendency of being. So, Shamika, thank you so much. That was such a really good point. And it is something I've used for years and something I have forgotten to use from time to time. But thanks for the reminder today. This is Dani Johnson. We'll continue with your calls right after this.
Hey, have you done a favor for your best friend yet? Then do it now. Share this program with them. The Dani Johnson Show, helping hundreds of thousands of people just like you make life more enjoyable and rewarding. The Dani Johnson Show.
Radio talk show host Dani Johnson in Kadwa, Haiti.
Hi, I'm Dani Johnson, and I'm here with Vida in her tiny little home. This home is the size of many people's closets in the United States of America. Now, we're sitting on a bed, just a piece of sheet or plastic that these beautiful babies sleep on. They have nothing. This family has nothing. No water, no food, nothing. Won't you do something? The Bible says that if you ignore the cry of the poor, then you too will cry and be ignored. They're not asking for nice clothes. They're asking for food. That's it. Food, water. You can help. We want to build her a home. We want to bring water, clean, fresh water here. But we can't do it alone. We need you.
Help us radically change a community. Go to kingsransom.org to make your donation to Kadwa, Haiti. That's kingsransom.org.
If you know me at all, I don't want you to spend a penny more than you have to on anything. This is one of those things. If you're a business owner and accept credit cards, you're paying too much unless you're working with my friend Kevin Sykes at Prestige Merchant Solutions. He is so confident that he can save you money, he'll actually pay you $100. Listen, if you accept credit cards, check it out. Call 850-200-0709. That's 850-200-0709. Kevin guarantees 5-star service. Guarantees he'll save you money or pay you $100. No risk, so why wait? Call today. It's quick to change from your current service, incredibly reliable, 24/7 support, and payments are processed quickly. Tell him Dani told you to call. There's nothing to lose. Call 850-200-0709 or visit them at prestigemerchantsolutions.com.
Now, more of the Dani Johnson Show.
You know, we've all fallen short. We've made some big mess ups. And for some of us, we've made such big mess ups that other people get to see it. Whether we were like this father who was on video bulldozing over his son's video games, and the son's screaming and crying like a 7-year-old when he's a 22-year-old, and or that we're the parent that's like, oh, I can't believe I did that. That is so bad. Or that we're embarrassed that our kid has done that, or we're their kid itself being humiliated. Sometimes humiliation can be a teacher. Actually, I think humiliation is a teacher no matter what. I don't think it's a good tactic nor strategy to put on our kids. But I want to hear about what you think about that. It's been really a good, rich show today on this topic of, different styles of parenting. But we got Deanna from San Antonio, Texas. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Dani. How are you doing?
Good.
Yeah.
on this subject, I totally do not agree with it at all. I think it is the worst type of parenting possible. There's no honor. There's no honoring the kids. I don't understand how the parents can expect respect from those children if they can't respect their children.
Mm-hmm. That's true, actually. It does teach disrespect, doesn't it, by the very example?
It does, and humiliating a person I don't believe is the way to go. I think, if anything, they're creating more animosity. The Bible says love believes the best, and publicly humiliating somebody surely is not believing the best, and it surely doesn't demonstrate love.
Yeah, that's true. That's very, very true. Yeah, and let me ask you a question. Have you ever humiliated somebody before?
A long time ago, before I came to the Lord, yes, I did, and I felt awful. Sometimes I think back on it and I get a reminder of it, and I feel horrible about it. They have been humiliated as an adult as well, and that just feels horrible.
Mm-hmm. It does. It really, really does. What did you do to make the person you humiliated right, to make the situation right?
I apologized. This is probably about, maybe 20 years ago, and I apologized, but somehow, once the words come out, you can't go back and take them back. You can't. Once they go forth, they were already said. And I remember apologizing, and that's the only incident that I remember doing that, and it was horrible.
Yeah.
It was just so horrible.
Yeah.
I tried to make it right, and did the most that I could, but like I said, the words were already said, and they released forgiveness, but it was not nice at all.
No. Okay, but here's something that you can do, because when I look back, I had said some things about my older daughter that I didn't realize at the time was humiliating to her. And actually, it wasn't me that said it. It's that I didn't say anything, and then I just agreed with it. Do you know what I'm saying? So somebody was like razzing my daughter, and my oldest daughter and I are the most alike, and for some reason, people really like to razz us. And I realized, man, my silence is agreeing with what's being said, number one. And number two, that I have laughed and said, oh, yeah, well, Christina, you should think about that. And I had to call her and ask her to forgive me multiple times. But I'm going to tell you what the Lord did. He encouraged me to encourage her in the opposite direction of the humiliation and really begin to rebuild the words of encouragement. There's no power like encouraging somebody. And so I would encourage you, Deanna, to go back and encourage the person in the opposite direction of the humiliation and just say, I was thinking about you today. And give them a strong word of encouragement. And continue to do that. Maybe put a reminder in your phone, maybe once a month. Go and say it again. Maybe write it in a card. Begin to build the bridge of showing them love. Because if there's still a wedge in the relationship, they still believe the words that you said. There's only one way to get rid of them. One, ask for forgiveness, but two, make it right by saying now the opposite again and again and again until you rebuild that belief in them. Because when we humiliate somebody, we kind of rob them of that belief in themselves. So
that's fantastic. That's fantastic advice. I haven't seen that person in 20 years. It was they're not even from this country. So
well,
I don't
track them down, honey. Don't give me an
pray.
excuse. Facebook, Instagram, whatever, Twitter. You'd be amazed. Find the person and do what you can. It'll shock them 20 years later for sure. All right, we've got Marie from Fort Worth. Welcome to the Dani Johnson Show.
Thank you, Dani.
So
I was
go
I
ahead.
was thinking that with this, I'm not in agreement with the public humiliation by parents of their kids. To me, it's kind of like a form of bullying, and I think that it promotes our problem that we have with bullying today. I think that kids are bullied, and they bully others as a result. I really think it links to it. You're teaching them a dishonoring way to try to deal with something because you don't know what else to do.
Yeah.
And the problem really goes back to earlier. If it really points to the parent. To me, who should be the most embarrassed is the parent, because obviously they don't have control. They're out of control.
Yep.
And things do happen where, bad things do happen in great Christian families, great families that raise their kids right, where kids go awry and parents are at their wits' end. They don't know what to do, but I don't think public humiliation is the answer.
Yep.
I just think it's dishonoring. It promotes anger, and, it's gonna come out of the child or the teen, young adult later.
Yep. It does. And in fact, something that you said about bullying, right? When a kid is bullied, when do they stop that activity of bullying back? They don't. They become adults that bully. And I was raised by a bully. The man that raised me, who I called my dad, who turned out not to be my dad, he was bullied. As a kid, he was bullied by his parents, and he bullied my mother and my two sisters and myself. And then guess what I did? Oh, gosh, I was awful. Marie, I was awful. I bullied my two sisters. My parents used to send me outside to beat them up. And I enjoyed it.
Oh.
I enjoyed it. It was awful. And so I became a bully out of being bullied. And so I agree with you. There is great power that a parent has in their influence with how we respond. And I think it's really sad, and I'm sorry to say that I can identify more than I want to with those parents that are at their wits' end, that don't know what to do, who are reacting instead of taking a deep breath and thinking it through and maybe seeking the Lord. I've made that mistake myself. And when I put myself in those parents' shoes, I know I probably could have done the same thing. I know, given the right set of circumstances, I would have failed my kid in the very same way. The way I look back, right? Marie, have you ever been in that place where you've stewed over something? I believe you have, as I have. And that's the dangerous place where we've got to take a deep breath and think the whole thing through. Keep a cool head. This is Dani Johnson. Thanks so much for joining us today. We hope that you join us tomorrow for another topic that is going to help change your life.
We welcome you to join us right back here again. You've been listening to The Dani Johnson Show.
Is God calling you to the entertainment industry? Do you want to rise for Him? Do you want to be an actor, model, singer, or dancer and shine for God? Do you think the world needs better role models? Do you want to be a star for the Most High God? Actors, models, and talent for Christ is coming to a city near you. A new generation of Christian performers is rising. Call 800-STAR-420 or go to amtcaudition.com. God gave you talent for a reason, and that is to shine for Him. So we are searching for actors, models, singers, and dancers. Go to amtcaudition.com to find out when and where the next free audition will be held. Entertainment is the best opportunity for Christians to change the world, and the time is now. Are you ready for that call? 800-STAR-420 or go to amtcaudition.com. That's actors, models, and talent for Christ. Register for your audition today. You tell yourself that life isn't that bad. You relish the small pleasures. Drive-through coffee, big screen TV, vacations bought on credit cards. But that's as good as life gets unless you take a leap of faith. This is millionaire author, radio and television show host Dani Johnson, inviting you to join me for 2 days where you will acquire the skills to make the life you crave a reality. Call now 844-200-DANI or visit firststepstosuccess.com.